Hey guys, I think I finally figured out the right way to talking to this mic. I have this mic for like 2 years. It is not what we're supposed to do here. Hey guys, Hylas here. Welcome back to my channel. And as you've seen in the title, we are going to be finishing books I'm in the middle of. And I just finished one that I was in the middle of, and I'm going to talk to you about it. This is a reading vlog, but I didn't vlog this. Whatever. I started reading Credence back in September. We are in July right now when I'm filming, and yeah, I finally said no. I need to read the last 120 pages of this. And I did, and I gave Credence 1 star. I think it's pathetic, and if you don't want to have Credence spoilers, you can skip ahead of this video and go into the clips, like when I'm not here. Credence spoilers, everybody. So, this book follows Tiernan, who is 17, and her parents die, and she goes to live with her uncle in the middle of nowhere. Basically, that's very basic. That uncle has 2 sons. So the uncle is Jake, the 2 sons are Caleb and Noah. She goes to live there with them, and she gets with all of them. And she also turns 18 before doing that, but still with all of them 3. And basically it's just like she is very confused on which one she should choose, or if she should choose to go to university or not. You know the drill. And this book is pathetic because Caleb doesn't speak. Out of nowhere, he starts speaking with her. Yeah, it's not out of nowhere, but at the same time, he's just like, he doesn't have a problem with just saying a few words at first. No, full on speaking after that, which I consider a little bit insane, but who am I, right? Who am I? I gave this book 1 star. I also gave Thirstic's Venom either 1 or 2 stars. That's the other book of Penelope Douglas that I don't like. But then she has written The Devil's Night. Perfect. She has written Birthday Girl. She has written Bully, Punk 57, 5 Brothers. And then she just writes this. But yeah, you have to write something bad. What? You have to write something bad to know how to write something good, I guess. But yeah, I'm really excited to read Midnight Curfew by her. It's going to be her first romance book, and I've been begging Penelope Douglas to write an romance, and she's doing it. She is doing it. She started with the sapphic romance, and now she's going into the I am so happy. And C. Richie has read Midnight Curfew. I am so jealous. I am literally so jealous. But okay, I'm going to pick up the pile of books that I'm in the middle of and show it to you. These are the books that we are in the middle of. One of them, you can probably tell which one it is. But let's go through the pile. This video is going to have a lot of non-fiction books because those are the type of the books that I can leave and then go back just the same, I don't need to have this, how do I say, like, I don't have to follow a narrative, or you know what I mean. I have to follow more an idea than a narrative per se. So we have Black Friend by Ziwi. I got this book because of Heathen. She made a YouTube video, like wrap up of the month or something, where she talked about Black Friend. Ziwi, she's like a interviewer. She has this program where she interviews famous people, and I don't know much about her, like I don't watch her program or anything, but the way Eden talked about this, it was so good. And I was searching for a book with essays that I could just pop off and read, and I read a lot of this book. I read this much here, and it's, as a white person, it's so good to see the perspective of a black girl, because there are things that happen to her that would never happen to a white woman. And that's insane, first of all, but also I feel kind of sad, and I also feel kind of bad that I didn't know those things could be happening to someone. And that's why I lean into more a memoir like nonfiction, because human experiences can be so different, and especially as a black woman, I think she's doing it. I love that. We are also in the middle of Girl on Girl. This is a possible, if not already established, 5-star for me. I've read this much. This book talks a lot about how we, my generation of women, and like generation also before mine, were shaped through pop culture, the internet, pornography, how all that kind of messed up with how we see ourselves. And I'm still in a very introductory way of thinking, so I don't have a lot yet from it, but so far the writing is so good. I'm taking a lot of notes on it. Love. Then we have The Lamb, which is not going to be in this video, but I wanted to say that this book is, like, it has been a little bit hard for me. I started it in January, I have to say that. And it's been a little bit harder for me to pick up because it's a very melancholic writing style, which I love. But this year has been really hard on me and really sad, and I know the story is going to lean on a sadder way, point, storyline, whatever, and I'm really not prepared for it. But this fall, I plan on finishing The Lamb. And the last book I have here is The Creative Act. I have it in the Portuguese version. My mom bought it for me. I've read this much of it. It's quite good, but at the same time, I just keep thinking this book was written by a man. I rarely read books written by man, and especially on this side of things, because this one leans a little bit more in the self-improvement way of thinking of nonfiction. And I literally have also Atomic Habits. It's not even, like, it doesn't even enter my list to this, because Atomic Habits just comes from such a privileged life that he has that he doesn't even know. Like, not all people can do that, and should we be doing all that habit stacking and whatever? Maybe not. Maybe that's not how or why we were made to live on this earth. So yeah, but The Creative Act, it's good. I feel like he's leaning on a very, like, closed-minded way of doing things, and just that way works. But so far, I think he has nice things here. Like, I have underlined a lot of nice things, and reading it in Portuguese means a lot to me, because I don't usually read in Portuguese. I read only if the book is originally in Portuguese. This year, I read The Hour of the Star by Clarice Lispector, and that was so good, and it's so nice to have the privilege to read in Portuguese. But since I got the Portuguese version of this, I'm also really, really liking that. I'm going to start with finishing Black Friend, because it's such a good book to just read before bed, and this week with my job and everything, this is the best option that we have. So yeah, I'm really excited. And I just want to tell you something about Black Friend again. Something that really, like, is going to stuck with me forever is Zooey said that she was at I think it was a tennis match. I don't know. She wasn't at an event, and it was only her and another black woman there, and like, when the camera pointed to her, they said the other black woman's name, and that is insane. Like, the way she writes it as well, it's so straightforward. Like, I'm talking to a friend, and it's it's good, but at the same time so sad. And at the same time I think, can I put a rating to this book? Because this is a very personal experience that you're living through. How can I rate that? So if I rate this book, which I probably will, I'll do it on a more of writing and structure, not at all on her life experiences.
What are you thinking now? Tell me about yourself. If you believe in love, I don't want nothing else.
Why are BTS always at the crime scene?
Why don't we try it? Don't say we're gonna leave it all behind. I know you want me. This could be something.
The only problem I am having with this book is the fact that this is such an American life experience that there are things here that she's talking about. Okay, King. There are things here that she's talking about that I have no idea what is going on. And one of them is The Bachelor. Like, I have seen mentions of what The Bachelor might be, but I actually don't know. I actually don't know how that works at all. So for me, it's a little bit hard to truly immerse myself in what she's trying to tell me because I have no prior experience with that, you know? But yeah, this is very like American pop culture, so obviously I'm not so into it. I'm a little bit into it, but like not too much. I think that's the only thing. Like, I am reading it and I am acknowledging that I'm reading a book. So, but yeah, so far she's very funny. Like, it's hard for someone to be funny in a book, and she does it so well. I'm out here like, girl, I know what you're doing there. And I love the notes just that she just puts there. It's perfect. I don't know how you call those in English. In Portuguese, they're called rodapé, notas de rodapé. In English, I'll have to search what it is, because I don't know. Yeah. I am still reading that episode, what the heck, that essay on reality TV. And one thing that she says that's so real is how people, by seeing it on TV, don't acknowledge that what is happening to real people. And this year, in the beginning of the year, we had something happening in Portugal on The Secret Story, where a girl that actually is from my city, she got cheated on inside of the reality TV show. And it brought up a conversation on her, on how she handled the situation, blaming her almost for what happened. And that is a real person that you're talking about that just got cheated on, and you want to blame her for the action of the man, you know? I'm really liking this essay so far, probably one of my favorites. And I love how vulnerable she is with saying that she also thinks that these people, or at least she thought that these people were just characters that she could just say something about it, they wouldn't feel it, but that is not true. And it's very potent.
I hope you feel it too. Oh, let this be over. Want you to stay. If you let me closer, baby, give me everything.
did I finish Black Friend or did it finish me? That is the nicest question. I'm still very much contemplating what is going on in my head right now. But I, first of all, just want to say how beautiful it is to have the opportunity to read someone being so vulnerable to the public, and sharing things that are so intrinsic to who we are as people that others don't usually know about, and to have that courage. I would call it courage to put it into words. Courage and artistry, first of all, to put all that into a book. For me, it's literally what I appreciate the most. So, very thankful to have this opportunity to read about Ziwi. Let's go through the points that I made on my notes, and then I'll read you my favorite quotes. One of my first points when I started reading it was how I have been wondering how is our history going to be written in history books. And the way Ziwi states some things, that some events that have happened, either political or even social, I think, first of all, that is the matter that is going to be on the history books, I would hope. And also the way she structures it and puts it out into our work, I was just yeah, this is definitely what is going to be what is going to be in our history books. So yeah, I really like that. I really liked having that perspective as well on myself, not upon our work, truly. I've talked about this before, but I want to say it again. Reality is a really great essay that explains a lot of how our society is perceiving other people. How are we perceiving others, especially through this reality TV that since we are seeing it through a screen, we don't know how our brains don't know how to differentiate that those are real people and not made up characters, which sometimes they are, but you know what I mean. I really like that essay. I think my favorite essay was Imposter Syndrome, and I'm going to read 2 quotes from it that I really liked. Crazy. I also really loved how she introduced authors, she introduced James Baldwin and Maya Angelou together, and I really like that. And another thing is how she, in the middle of an essay, she just put another essay. That was really fascinating to me. I don't know, maybe because I don't read this, I haven't read before many of these very personal memoirs, so I don't know if they have a structure that people usually like to follow or not. But I was so amazed by those introductions of essays in the middle of an essay. I really like that. Another point I made is because, I don't know, I think it was a woman she was interviewing, she puts excerpts of her interviews in the middle of usually in the beginning of essays, but sometimes in the middle too. And there's this specific thing that I noticed, that when a white person is speaking, in this case with Ziwi, a black woman, they need to acknowledge that they are white. I noticed this. This is the first time I'm knowing about Ziwi. I never watched their program or anything. I just really liked the back of the book and said, yeah, damn, I really want to read this. But when she was interviewing white people, a lot of times they mentioned, I'm just a white girl, I'm just a white woman, I'm just a white man. You know, they somehow, like, if you cannot see, they have to acknowledge that. And, you know, that is weird as fuck. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't been put in a position where I'm being interviewed by Ziwi, but I don't think my first thought would be answering a question by saying, yeah, I'm a white girl. I don't know. Maybe if I'm put there, we don't know what's going to happen, right? There is a part of the book where she talks about how, in this case it was racism, but I think we can put it into a broader thing, where she's like, things need to be called what they are. Like, if someone is being racist, and it was a one-time thing, but that's not really it. If someone is being racist, it needs to be called that. Like, you cannot put out like a white cloth and just clean it up. Like, that's not how it happens, you know? And I think the value of things being called what they are, and if someone is racist, they are a racist person, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a bad person, but they are racist, you know? And that also put in perspective like a lot of things I've lived here in Portugal, because I've worked with black actresses, actors. I've had like black acquaintances also telling me things that have happened to them that obviously me, in the privileged position that I am, haven't been through. And it's exactly this, like, someone can be racist and like not even understand that they are being racist, and that, like, I guess that's what we need to, maybe I'm not in a place to teach them anything, but what the black community is trying to say is like, not even the black community, because here in Portugal something happened very, very recently where a woman had her children try Chinese food, I think, and they were doing like that symbol with pushing their eyes back, and that's something that happens in Portugal a lot, and it is racist, like, and your kids aren't born racist and doing those things. Like, they had to see that somewhere, and for you as a parent to not tell them, well, this is something bad that will make other people who are different from you feel bad as well. Well, the kids weren't born like that, you know, and they weren't born with the previous knowledge as well, so they need to be taught that. They weren't. So that's what I mean. Sometimes racism comes from bad people, and other times racism comes from people who are not even aware they're being racist, you know? This example with children is a little bit messed up, but I cannot bring myself to find another one. So, I am going to read you my favorite quotes. So, the first two quotes are from Imposter Syndrome, obviously, my favorite essay. I was between reality and Imposter Syndrome, but definitely this one wins. Well, I'm going to read from page 127. Neo got my back, 127. Crazy. And the quote is, I don't feel I have the same margins for error as others. I wish I could say this was all in my head, but the expression, you have to work twice as hard to be half as good, didn't just fall from the sky. And I literally see myself in this woman so much. It is insane. I cannot explain this one much more. Let's go to probably my favorite one. I don't know. I think the last sentence is my favorite, but, well, let's go through this one. It's on page 129. It's the last paragraph. My heart is not about success. My heart is about me, my life, my experiences, my perspective. That is my cheat code. I remind myself that I am one of a kind. I am special. I have something to say. And even if no one cares, I do. The only way I could be an imposter is if I am not true to myself. Girl, that is so me. Like, girl, were you sleeping here in my house? Then another quote that reminded me a lot of Clarice Lispector. I don't know if Zooey has read Clarice Lispector, but I'm gonna read it to you. I hated writing, but I loved having written. In the way, in Hour of the Star that I have like here. No, it's here. Hour of the Star. Clarice Lispector says, like, write something exactly like this. Like, I need to read it to you. She says this. I'm going to translate. This is in Portuguese. She says, I meditate without words and about nothing. What bothers me in life is writing. I don't even know what to say, but I was very much reminded about Hour of the Star. So, well, if you haven't read Hour of the Star, maybe it's your time to go read that. But I hated writing, but I loved having written. It's so beautiful. Like, because it takes like a very, very, very hard tool on you to focus your entire being on writing something. And, you know, at some point, like, you hate what you're doing. Like, you hate it a little bit. Even if it's just a little bit, you are hating it. And but it's so beautiful to go and look back and you're like, goddamn, I'm glad I worked that hard, you know? Let's go to another one. This one is Affirmative Actions, Part 3. Beautiful. So, she writes, so if there are any young artists reading this book, my best advice is that you should never be afraid of being bad. Embrace the cringe. The only way to get good is by spending countless hours working on your craft. And then, a sentence after, she says, I realized that my life experiences had offered me the merit of something unique to say. And lately, since I have finished university, I've been thinking a lot about this, about am I unique enough to have a position in this world of writing and, in my case, filmmaking? And you know what? Hell yes I do. Hell yes I do. And I love Zooey for saying this, writing this. And then the last sentence of the book. If you haven't read the book and you want to read it, maybe don't listen to this quote because it's like I cried. Like this final sentence just made me cry. So skip to where I'm not sitting here, for the love of God. So the last sentence says, you can have my body, but you can't have my body of work. And coming from all of this, like I think even though we didn't went through the normal structure of like I was born and then I did this and this and this and this and then I died, like this is not the normal structure of the book. We still went through all of these phases of her life, and I saw her grow through it, and that was beautiful. Like that is so hard to do but still so beautiful. I'm going to take this book with me like on my path, as she says in the end, and I think I am going to take a little bit of Zooey now on my leaving, and it's very beautiful to know that there's someone out there who understands me a little bit. That's very beautiful. This is obviously a very heavy book. There's mentions of, apart from all the crimes, racism and, you know, all of it, there's also mentions of eating disorders or like body dysmorphia, so be aware of that. But I think it's something everyone should read, especially because like she is unique And it also made me think how literally everyone is unique. You just have to find the right words to write it down, girl. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I wasn't expecting to cry on it, but it's so, wow. It was really beautiful. Now it's time for me to go to sleep and to go stalk Zooey on social media and maybe watch a few episodes of her show. But I'm very thankful that this book put itself into my path. So it's time to sleep, and tomorrow after work I am going to keep on reading Girl on Girl. I guess that's what we're going with.
What are you thinking now? Tell me about yourself. If you believe in love, I don't want nothing else. 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 I'm here by your side, and you look in my eyes.
Here. Hello, girls. I don't know. Boys, girls, everybody. I'm getting ready, but I need my sunscreen to set, so I just have one point, and I made a little clip of it. Girl on Girl has such a great dialogue with Black Friend, because especially like the last essay I read, she was talking about reality TV, as we have talked here. And it was insane because how did these two books found themselves in my hands at the same time? And I picked them up to read literally one after the other. That was beautiful, by the way. I didn't even know that that would be a topic here. But it was really crazy that Black Friend stated that when the first black male that was in The Bachelor, whatever happened, and then Girl on Girl goes to the exact same historical moment. And I wasn't expecting it at all. I was just like, wow. I was talking to my mom saying, this is insane. Like, how did these two books, like, they have such dialogue in between each other. It's just perfect. But so far, I don't even know where the book is, but I am like on page 120 or going there. And this one is definitely a more textbook way of seeing history, especially history with women. But I love her perspective on things. I love the cultural moments she's speaking out to prove her point or to enhance her point. I don't think she's trying to prove anything. Like, it's a fact what she's saying. But I really like the way she writes. I like the cultural things she's putting out there. And yeah, I don't have a critique right now. So I'm having a lot of fun, just so you guys know.